Hi, I'm Aidan Brown and welcome to Legally Speaking. Back here again today with Zinhle Mavuso, one of our resident legal experts, and she's going to give us a little bit of advice today on what to do if you need some help with the small claims court. This is a first port of call for many South Africans for small financial claims or small damages, things that court cases, for example, that aren't of a significant enough financial figure to require, say a high court, for example, which is I think over 100,000 Rand or something.
600K.
It's over 600K. Wow. So small claims court is for really small claims, is to try and sort things out fairly quickly. Because to go to higher courts, like in this example, 600,000 Rand, is an incredibly expensive thing. So Zinhle is going to talk us through what goes down at the small claims court, what sort of numbers you're talking about, and how to maybe use the process as effectively as possible. So welcome, Zinhle.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. So when you say small amount, right, what it means is that the small claims court only handles cases going up to a value of 20,000 Rand. Anything above that will go to the magistrate's court, right? So they will handle cases such as maybe you need rent, your tenant, so you're leasing a property to someone and they're not paying the rent, they're not paying the utilities, or if you've borrowed someone money below the 20,000 Rand and you want your money back, right? So they will be able to help you with those smaller claims like that. You wouldn't really need, the idea being that you wouldn't really need lawyers to help you go through that process.
Of course, because you with lawyers, and especially if, for example, you need an advocate as well, your numbers would exceed 20,000 Rand quite easily.
Easily. So they're there to help you try and effectively and quickly resolve those smaller issues, even things like motor vehicle claims as well, where you were in a car accident, your bumper fell off. Like, I don't know how much your bumper is, I don't have a car. But they help with smaller claims like that, right? So practically speaking, what would happen is, your first step, I would feel, is you'd try and reach out to the person that you need your money from, right? Listen, we agreed you're going to pay me this money by X date. You haven't paid me that money. Please pay me back.
Yes.
And if they haven't done that, then that's when you're going to start this legal process through the small claims court, right? Where do you find the small claims court? It's at the magistrate court.
Okay.
So it's not that there's a separate court outside of the magistrate's court. It's within that office, right? So, because I think a lot of people also get confused with that as well.
It's a division, you could say, of the magistrate's
like
court.
Office there, right? So you go to a magistrate's court, you will ask for the small claims court office, and then they'll direct you where they need you to go. You will approach the clerk. You'd do a letter of demand to the person. So you've called them, they're not paying you the money. You will then send them an email. You'd send them a letter of demand. So you're just setting out the terms of what was agreed between you two. And you want your money within 14 days or else I'm going to court, is what you're saying in your letter of demand. So you'll take that letter of demand that you have sent as well as proof that you've served it on the other side.
Of course.
And then take it with you to the clerk. The clerk there will then look at your letter, your proof of service, any contract or documentation that you feel supports your claim or supports your case. And then they will help you fill out what's called a summons. A summons is basically your application to the court. Please help me. I need my money from this person. Please intercede. They'll help you draft it and then give you that paper to give to that summons to give to the sheriff. The sheriff, there's different sheriffs of different jurisdictions, right? So you'd look at where that person you want your money from resides or permanently carries business, right?
Yes.
And then you'd approach the sheriff that works in that jurisdiction to serve them. There will be a fee involved there, and you will be responsible for that fee. I can't tell you that it's going to be 200 or 500. It depends on the sheriff.
Okay.
Right? There, you'll give the papers to the sheriff. Sheriff will serve it on the other side, and it'll give you back what's called a return of service.
Yes.
Return of service, just saying, hey, on this day, I took your summons and I gave it to this person. It was successfully received at this time by this person. Here you go. Keep that return of service. It is very important.
Okay.
So you've done your summons. The other side or your opponent will have an opportunity to either say, okay, listen, can we please settle? I don't want to go to court. Or they'll ignore you.
Yes.
Right.
That's why the return of service process is obviously very important.
It's important. Or they'll say, no, I don't owe you that money. I'm going to defend myself. And then they're going to do a notice of intention to defend.
Of course.
So once you have that, you're going to go back to your court with your original, you'll have your original summons, you'll have your return of service. and then it's the opponent's job to file their papers with the court, not with you. And then you would, the clerk will give you a date for hearing.
Okay.
You get your date for hearing. Parties must come on the date of hearing. You come with your papers. It's kind of like the CCMA in that it's not as adversarial a process. It's not as formal as it is. You are just there to tell your story. You're just there to explain to the commissioner why they owe you the money.
Yes.
And then the commissioner will help you, both parties, through that process, look at your paperwork, whatever, and then they'll give you a judgment accordingly.
Okay.
The judgment, it can be that these people must pay now, or if they say, look, we don't have the money right now, can we please make some sort of payment plan? The court can also help with you giving you a payment plan. And then they have to make payment. If they don't, then the matter will be referred to the magistrate court, and where you'll get a writ of execution. What the writ of execution is it's a document that you can take to the sheriff saying, this person owes me money. I have a judgment from the small claims court saying that this person must pay me my money, but they haven't. Please attach their property so I can sell it at auction and then get my money back. Is essentially what your writ of execution
that makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm. But that's basically the overview of the processes involved in the small claims court.
It's actually quite simple. I think for a lot of people, the small claims court, like all courts, can be a little bit daunting, but you've actually made it quite easy and clear. You'll go to your magistrate's court. There's going to be a small claims office there. You'll approach that office. You'll fill in the necessary paperwork. You provide relevant information, such as evidence if you've got it. You'll then take that document, approach a sheriff of the court. The sheriff of the court will deliver it. You'll then get proof that this has been delivered. That's obviously a very significant step, because if there's no proof that they've received this information, you kind of can't do anything in court. You'd be dead in the water. So that's a very important step. And from there, they pretty much just set out a date. They'll summons the person to court. You explain that process, and you'll meet on the date. You'll bring your evidence, and you'll do your best to support your case. In this particular instance, most people, obviously given the nature of the court, wouldn't necessarily use lawyers because the claim amounts are fairly small. Having said that, for a relatively small amount of money, you could still contact a great organization like Popela, Maake attorneys, and they could at least talk you through the initial process, even if it's just a telephonic conversation. They could give you a little bit of advice, and it could easily be worth just going for a single session or half an hour or a couple of phone conversations or maybe a few emails with such an organization, just so the attorneys can give you a little bit of advice so you can be well prepared beforehand, even though you often wouldn't necessarily want or take legal representation to such a court. Thank you very much. You've really outlined it beautifully. We appreciate it a lot, and I'm sure you're going to help out a lot of people given South Africa's somewhat nefarious dealings. Thank you very much for joining us. That's Zinhle Mavuso. This has been Legally Speaking, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye for now.